This is Drop Tent Media Network.
Seriously, Dad?
Seriously, Dad? Two father comedians out of Philadelphia. Seriously, Dad?
Dad? Seriously?
Dad?
Seriously? Seriously?
Yo, welcome back. Season 2, Seriously Dad.
I'm going to say 3 and then clap for you.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Here we are. Seriously, Dad. Back in action.
Back in action. The clap was there. Happy. I don't even need to say the day of the week because whatever. Happy day to everyone.
It's going to be the end. It'll be the last one of the year. And then I'm excited. We got the live show coming up February 15th.
That's nice. That'll be a lot of fun.
Last year. It's Rich Voss is doing the show right in front of us. So, hey, maybe Rich Voss will come on.
That'd be great. We'll just squeeze him for a little bit. Rap with him a little bit.
Yeah. Tell him to get his big old veneers in our studio.
Yeah, that's right.
He's got a great smile.
Oh, yeah. You used to work with him a lot, right?
We worked a couple times. Yeah. Did some stuff with him. He's cool, dude.
So get reunited.
He's a grandfather and all of that. He's got the empty nest syndrome going on. So,
yeah. Let's do it.
I'm sure that would be a great chat. We got Mike D'Alto from New Hope, who's in the thick of it with 2 young kids.
Oh yeah,
there we are.
Yeah, he's a good dude, so I'm excited. And I think Brandon Dunbar, who is going to be our resident, not
kid having dude who's
where we just get to make fun of him for not having any real responsibilities in his life.
I love that dude. I love Brandon Dunbar. I love that guy. He's great. I think he's hilarious.
Yeah, he's awesome. I love watching him. I just got to see him last Thursday, so
yeah,
I was looking forward to that.
He doesn't need to be procreating anytime soon, I would say, right?
I don't know that I think about his procreation.
Jay's gave diplomatic answer. It's like Jay's like,
so safe, right? So safe. Could you imagine Dunbar raising a little
Jay's
one?
like, I haven't thought about it though.
I didn't thought about that, but I have been thinking about how you all need to go to souljoels.com and get the tickets for February 15th.
There you go.
Day after you take your lady out. Now it's, what is it, blowjob and steak day? Is that
what they call that?
What's up?
The day after Valentine's Day is supposed to be like
blowjob and steak day. Is that right? Is that right? Never heard that.
I might have just made that up, but
it seems like fitting, right? Or maybe Valentine's Day could be that.
Yeah.
Right?
And do you go on dates with your wife? Have you been on a date with your wife at all recently?
Yes, been on dates. Yes. Do we go on dates Valentine's Day? No. We were just in New York 2 weeks ago. Saw a band she liked. Went out to dinner. Did all that. That was and last night we were on a date. Jesus, last night we were on a date. See, you know something's up because I forgot that we were. I didn't forget. So she has this musician guy she likes to see. And I said, yeah. She said, do you want to go? She asked me like Wednesday, do you want to go? I said, yeah. Now, do I like hanging out with her? 100%. Do I like live music? 100%. Do I like this guy? He is extremely talented, but it's not really my scene. But he's good. Okay. He's good.
How would you describe it? What kind of music?
He's like a singer-songwriter type of dude. Think like John Mayer, Princey guy. Maybe a little slower than Prince, though. A little more like, heartfelt songs. Great voice. His name is Son Little. I don't know where he's from, but he's good. He's good. So I say, yeah, I want to go. And I went, and I had a lot of fun, but I had taken an edible before we went. And, like a lot of people do, kind of mess up the dosage on that, bit off a little more than I should have. And I was like high as shit at this concert.
Now, had your wife done it too, or just you?
Just me.
Oh,
like high as hell. Like, like back in the day when you would get high before the football game and they're like high as hell. And I was like, and she spent the rest of the night kind of being angry at me and like monitoring me as a high person, but I wasn't that high.
Never said every high person ever.
Like, I'm saying? Like I was high, but I wasn't doing weirdo high stuff. I was listening to music and just chilling.
And they're like, why is Albert in the middle of the street?
doing snow angels. And like we had a good time, but I think she spent a lot of time worrying about me as a high person, and I kind of felt like, hey, I'm enjoying. This is how I enjoy concerts. This is
now.
It.
Has she ever partaken in it, or is it just something that you?
Very randomly, she may enjoy
okay,
the party.
So that makes sense. So I can see how that could be a point of
that's what it is.
Yep,
that makes sense. Being high is not like being drunk. That's the thing. That's kind of, like. Would you rather go out with your friend who smoked a little too much weed and was too high, or your friend who drank a little too much beer or whiskey and got a little too drunk?
Oh, definitely the high. So
Yeah.
this, I one time a friend of mine, he was going through a divorce, whatever, came on our vacation because it was like a big vacation. It wasn't like just me and Amanda. My mom had come. It was before we got married, and it was an all inclusive. So drank so much,
Oh God.
and was getting like belligerent. Well, he passed out, and we're like, oh great, because like I stayed with him, and Amanda shared a room with my mom, and so I was like, oh, this is great. We'll go out and have sushi. He hears us leaving and demands to come with us, but they sit us at a communal sushi table with this family from like the Netherlands or Holland or somewhere.
And he's acting like a drunk
Two
fool.
small kids, and he's demanding sake, but they season they're telling him that they don't have any sake.
Yeah, he's going like, it's all inclusive. I want sake now. Shit
He's
like that.
berating them. Then the family starts getting their meal first, and he tries to start talking to the kids, but he just keeps calling this kid Hans. And he didn't know his name. He's just like, Hans, how's your food? And like he didn't even try it yet. Like the guy really just put it down. But like and then he started sleeping and snoring. And so you're like, ooh, do we let him sit there?
You don't wake him up. I wouldn't wake him up.
Yeah, that was the dilemma, because if you wake him up, but he's snoring really loud, so it's like
You ruin it for everyone else if you wake him up. Yeah, so
Yeah,
I was
so
like,
definitely
I wasn't drunk like your buddy there. I was high. And I was like,
so I would definitely prefer someone in the high state.
I was just standing there. I'm looking at the music. I'm bopping my head a little bit. I think I recognize one or two songs that she plays, and but she was monitoring me, and I don't think she loved that I had consumed so much. And I guess the question here is, the concern is like, don't I get? It's my night too, right? Don't I get to kick it and have a good time, let loose a little bit, right?
Yeah. When people take on the responsibility of being a caretaker. And that I used to have friends who I've dated, their girlfriends would do that if they perceived anybody had, like I was out in Colorado years ago, and if they perceived that I was like too drunk or like whatever, they'd start babysitting you, and you're like, listen, it's not my first rodeo. But like sometimes when people take on that caretaker role, like they do that, and it's like it's a terrible position to be in if you're the one who's like, I'm really not that high, or I'm really not that drunk or whatever
but because they have like this hyper awareness or this hypersensitivity to the sensations you're feeling, and
they would be mom.
Yeah, and it's not affecting anything. Like you're affected by it. Like just accept, hey, the guy, he's high, he's here, he's moving, he's grooving. He's just
got a little flack from her about it.
What's that? Yeah, I got it. Yeah. Well, she was cool, but she was like, "Hey, could you not do that next time when we go out?" So now we can't go out anymore because I like, we just can't go out anymore. That's the plan.
I was watching the concert like you. It's like you were staring at the TV at the beginning of the concert. You never came in.
I was a little. I was there. I remember a lot of what took place. But I was a little removed from the situation because but like, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I would like to mention that this is a thing that happens, and I will say I don't know if it happens universally, but there's like a special moment, right? You're trying to do something special as a couple, but then you catch a different vibe, and I feel like I'm gonna say women. This is tough.
There you go.
I'm not on camera. It's fine. I'm gonna blame Jay. Listen, no, what I mean, like women, you're in a concert. There's no talk. You can't talk. It's like, hey, I'm high and existing and enjoying the music with you. What else are we supposed to do?
I can't have a conversation.
We're here for the concert.
We're rocking, we're swaying. She's singing a little bit. Yeah, I touch her butt every once in a while to make sure. Whatever, and like
to make sure the butt's there.
Yeah, she didn't dance her ass off. You know what I mean? And like that's it. That's the night. So
I see that's it. Well, and you guys, Neil more so because he doesn't have kids, but like. You having the custody stuff, like I think Amanda and I can't recall the last time Amanda and I let ourselves loose, like because it requires like so much extra planning to like we did a wedding recently and we had a bunch because then Amanda will start having Long Island iced teas and like that's the like
let loose.
That's the signal.
So what the last time you guys went out and like let's for back of a better term partied. When was the last time you guys like partied as a couple?
I would say that probably was that wedding. We were at a wedding not too long ago.
A year?
Last 2 months, 3 months.
All right, that's good.
And it was like, but we had plans. So obviously then we had like the in-laws watching them overnight. And But we had the dog, so I couldn't really partake as much because I at one point had to leave to go let the dog out and come back.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So like I had to and I knew I was sort of, because it was her friend. The reason we were there is because it was her friend's kid was getting married. And so like I was like, well, I'm gonna let her enjoy the night and I'll be the one to get us
So
home.
when you guys go out, are you always supportive of her free time?
I am, just because of how much she has to give up for me to be
Yeah.
on the road and stuff. So like I always default to like her.
I do the same thing. I do the same thing. I said something. You don't have to ask me if you can go. Don't talk. Like, go have the most fun you could possibly have. Let me know if you need a ride. That's it.
Yeah, I mean that's I've done that in the past. Like she's gonna go this coming Friday. Well, right before the holiday, she'll be at she has a party. All the people in her department are some of the girls that she is with. So they have it's already in the calendar. So but they're gonna be close. So I'll be her Uber driver because I have shows at Joel's, I think that night. So, and the girls are gonna be with my mom. So it's like I'll just go pick them up from wherever they end up, or if they're at a house, and just bring.
So
her
you'll
home.
drive now. You'll drive them around all night. Will you be
I
that
don't
Uber
know.
driver?
I mean, I would if they needed me to, because they'll just be. See, I don't. The opposite. Like if they're in the back being rowdy or whatever, it doesn't bother me. I drove Uber,
Yeah.
or let them have fun, and I'll just enjoy it. I'll just ride the wave with them. I think that's sometimes what happens. Like either the person who's not partaking is having fun with it and enjoying it, or they become the parent. Like I think that you get one of two
Yeah.
roles if you're
Yeah.
in.
The parent thing is kind of a little annoying. You know what I mean?
Like it'd be nice if she leaned into it a little bit with you during the concert and was just like, "Oh,
Yeah, exactly. You hungry big fella? That would be a great icebreaker. You hungry big? Funny you bring that up. I'm starving. You gonna go get some glizzies after the show? Like we could, you know what I mean? We could have done some stuff. But I was just, I don't know. I think that I don't know. It is weird, and holiday time is weird because you do end up like partying or being around other people, like not your people.
yeah."
And like more than social settings, because there's usually like alcohol involved and maybe some weed, maybe some other whatever you're into. But and sometimes like 50% of the population of a party or even more, you don't even know who they are. You have no idea any of these people are.
We used to have the best holiday parties back before like COVID and stuff like that. When I was first started teaching, like we had some great parties. Like somebody would host it, and I would bring rock band. Like when I was like 22 and just started teaching, I'd bring rock band. He'd have all the 40-year-olds, divorced teachers like
With
playing
the guitars and shit. Yeah.
loving it.
Did you know
And
the majority of people there? Like Albert's talking, did you knew like the majority of people at the Christmas parties and stuff, or was it kind of a mix?
So for this one, it's one of those things like when you teach in a building and there's like 130 people, it's like your pockets of people, and then you've either seen an email from somebody or brushed somebody in the hallway, but now you're thrashing like Guitar Hero,
Right.
all drunk, and like
Sweet child of mine.
to know people, because then all of a sudden, or people you've seen as straight edge, you're seeing them a little loose, like the office party scenario.
Right.
Or you're seeing that loose side of them because maybe mama got a babysitter that night and she's ready to kick back because she doesn't have to write any IEPs that night. So it's like I think you get to see people in their habitat, but it's an environment where everybody's okay with everybody kind of getting sloshed because they're either going to crash there or as long as people are being responsible, I think then nobody cared at that instance. But if you're with your partner, you guys need to obviously go in sort of seeing what everybody's expectations are, especially if your partner has the role of being mama bear if they're not partaking.
I think when Sabi and I first got there, she never mind when I was high all the time. We did things I would get high. She didn't really care that much. Now we're getting a little older. She cares a little more.
I've had this guilt thrown on me as well. I've had this thing happen, and I don't know where it comes from. I don't know why, because I guess you're less technically present in the way that they wanted you to be, but it's an expectation that they're putting on you, right? We talk about expectations, a lot.
Yeah.
It gets weird.
I read a book. I didn't read a book. I listened to a book. I feel like I should note the difference. So,
yeah, you should.
But I listened on Audible on a road last weekend when I was up at Mohegan Sun, and it was called The Four Agreements.
I've heard of this. Yeah.
Really enjoyed it because it's something now that I kind of like these affirmations. So it was written in like 1997 or something, but the guy was supposedly taking stuff from like this Toltec culture of like this pre-Columbian like culture of base, and it's all common sense stuff. It makes sense. The 4 agreements, like basically we're living a dream, and then we have our own personal dream, and then we have the collective dream that society and religion and our parents tell us that we have to live. And so this is all about how to free yourself of that like societal dream and just live your dream and get to your truth. And so they talk about, in order to do that, you really need to do 4 things. First one, be impeccable with your words. 2, don't take anything personally. 3 was don't make assumptions. And then the 4th agreement is always do your best, but for intrinsically, not for like a reward or because you're thinking you're getting something, just going with a mindset that you're always going to do your best. And then apparently there's a 5th agreement. I didn't read that one, but it was be skeptical, but listen.
All right.
Yeah. Dan Harmon. Yeah, Dan Harmon followed those. Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, because for communication with Amanda and stuff, like her and I, because we've been ships passing the night with our schedules a lot, that we're missing each other, missing the mark a little bit. And then I would make assumptions and I would take things personally. And I wasn't always, clear with my words. So like I started realizing like, oh, wow. And so even just the last couple of weeks of me being mindful of like not taking something personally, like, oh, did she sigh? Is that a sigh because she's not happy with something? Or is it a sigh because she just realized something from work that she forgot about, And so I sometimes overanalyze. So like these affirmations I keep repeating in my head. And then when I get stressed out about like whatever, then I'm just like, you know what? I'm doing my best. Like at this moment, and your best is your best at any given moment, So it's been cool for me. And I think it's been helpful for her because she realizes I'm not reading into things as much and I'm not taking things personally. And I'm like, oh, wow, like what? It's been freeing for me because I hated listening for stuff and assuming that it was because of me or it was something else. And it's like the universe doesn't revolve around you. Relax, cowboy,
Yeah. That comes from, I think that comes from guilt, bro.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So the two things that he says that the societal dream creates is what's called the judge and the victim. And so like you live your whole life in this guilt and shame of being judged by something. And then you're like, oh, woe is me, everybody's out to get me, victim. And your brain goes between those two things, which makes it hard to not take things personally and makes it hard to not make assumptions. So yeah,
I think not taking things personally is a big like chunk of that. And I think that people say like, don't take it personal. It's nothing personal. But I don't think people understand like how to really like not take anything personal. And assumptions. I think assumptions are another definite killer of communication and motivation and success, because I used to assume that everyone just was angry at me and disliked me. Yeah, I'm not even being funny. Like I used to assume that everybody was angry at me. And someone's like, hey, I want to talk to you. I'd be like, oh, they're upset with me about something. Right. And I would get like, it's not good.
I was say as a comedian too, like we're like you're in like every performance, like I was feeling like those things. Like I was either making assumptions as to why something didn't work or I was taking something personally of that. Like, after every performance it's like, listen, I'm doing my best. Every time I go up there, I was treating every performance like it's the most important performance and it's my best. So it's like, what are you worried about? Like some of those things aren't your fault. Like stop taking things personally, stop thinking. And it was very freeing to not be so negative after a performance. That was perceivably a good performance, but your brain can convince yourself.
Yeah, like what when you're parenting? You take parenting very personal, I'm sure, right?
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Like when your kids fuck with you, well, for lack of a better term, you take that personal, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like hard not to. Like if my daughter now she's got a little attitude on her and she'll say something with like a little like sass. Yeah. Like who the fuck? Like
yeah, I'm with you.
A minute to be like, all right, don't take that personally. She's testing boundaries. She's saying like she's trying to develop a little personality for herself. Like,
have you read anything about the teenage, like the pushing the boundaries is always something I know it happens and I've seen it. You witness it. I've been looking after younger kids in my family and stuff and be like, they're doing that thing now. Here we go. Like they're for no cause. Is there anything psychologically you've read where it's just like they need to push boundaries? They don't know how, though, so they just take it out on whoever's there. They're just kind of like,
Oh,
Is that how it works out? They just whoever's close to them, you're just like, well, I could do that or not. Shut up. Like you're just like, dude,
No
where
one's
did this
no
come
one's
from?
yo, with kids. No one's really safe.
Yeah, it's no
Like
one's safe,
maybe
right?
grandma and grandpa, like maybe like a couple of people are
Yeah.
safe. But
Yeah.
think about when you're a kid, or you talk shit to everybody when you got the opportunity.
No, I
you
didn't. I think
a little
there's a-
sass every once in a
I think
while,
kids are
whatever.
honest. I think kids just are honest and they don't have that filter of what they're saying. So I think it can be hurtful from a kid, but sometimes they're just being honest. They're not like it's when somebody says something to you because they know how you're gonna react. I don't think it's that deep yet with my 8-year-old anyways, but like I think you can. I mean, kids get manipulative. You can be manipulative. Like you could if you learn, like I always said that I thought I learned how to lie from a young age because I just always knew I had to I couldn't tell the whole truth about my family to people. So I was always manipulating and lying. And I think that's a learned behavior. That's something you can learn and then say, oh, Louis C.K. or somebody has a bit that's like,
Louis
how
does,
can we
yeah.
tell my kid not to lie? It like solves all of your problems.
Yeah.
So I think
Pretty
there's a
smart.
stage there's a stage, where they learn that. I mean, I know when we talk about like early childhood development stuff, there was a guy, French guy like John Piaget, and he talked about some of the stuff of early childhood, but I'm sure there's a version of that of like as they morph into prepubescent and teenagers that they want their peers.
Yeah, but he also made all his kids smoke because he was French. So that's just, you know what I mean? You can't do that. That's not,
Yeah, kids. I think kids will. I haven't received it yet. I haven't received the wrath of any of my children yet. But they are designed to like push and like push back and kind of fight. They're always going to do that.
yeah.
They're always going to do that. And then you just you got to correct them. But it's
Makes sense because
I
they're
mean-
they're closer adults. Because when you're 14, you are only 4 years away from being an
From being
adult,
an adult,
technically.
yeah.
But at the same time, you're treated as an absolute infant. You're like,
Yeah.
you can't have anything you want. You can't do what you
anything.
want.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so I
but
get
in
it.
4 years, you're on your own.
you know, in 4 years,
Don't
it's-
smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
By
pretty much.
26, they're going to stay until they have to get off the health insurance at this point.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit! That'll.
But kids will test. But my kids are great. Like honestly, even
There you go. Make up for it, Jay. There you go. Tell them how good they are. Tell them how good.
not perfect, but great. Like because I decided to take them away yesterday, impromptu. Amanda was away at the conference, so I didn't have a show last night. So I said, let's go to Great Wolf Lodge, and they were super pumped when I figured out I could get a dog sitter and we could go. But then like getting out of the house, like Alicia was just getting distracted. God love her. The ADHD of her brain. She would like go upstairs for the purpose of packing and getting her clothes. And next thing you know, she's reading a comic on her bed.
I've been there, kiddo.
And you're yelling at her, and then she starts yelling back, and the whole house is in chaos.
So
Now
what?
we're
40 minutes? Would take 40 minutes.
Oh my God, yeah. Now we're all crying. Everybody's screaming and crying. I'm threatening that we're no longer going.
Oh
so now
my
we're
gosh! You just went from hero to zero.
crying. We're all crying. I'm like, I just dropped $300, $400 on a hotel room for tonight. We still have 2 hours to drive there. We're all crazy.
Where's Great Wolf Lodge?
There's a couple. We went to the one up in Poconos. There's one in Maryland.
Okay,
We're almost equal distance from each other. But when I went on, I was able to get the little, like they love bunk beds. So like they had the one where they're like with bunk beds. But we got in the car and I apologized. We all apologized to each other. But like I'm watching my youngest, because at the Great Wolf, I was so nervous with Alicia. They gave a wristband for like so people saw would know she was neurodivergent and stuff like that.
That's nice of them.
Sometimes on the slides, she has a hard time like waiting in line or not like kind of skipping the line. And but Katie's so good with her. It was amazing to watch how great Katie was. And I let them go for a minute on their own to this one.
Do you ride the rides? Because it's water slides, right?
Yeah, in the wave pool like most of the night. We were there for like 4.5 hours last in the water park till they closed.
So you're in the water for 4.5 hours.
I was in the water with them, but then they wanted to go do like this obstacle course. So I went and like cheered them on the side. And then they wanted to go up to this top thing where it's like all the water and you could manipulate, spray people. So like I sat down and let them go up and play in that. But then I lost one of them and then I'm trying to get, and it wasn't, I didn't lose Alicia. I lost Katie. I'm like, this is not right. I did not expect to lose my younger one.
Lose that one.
She's the mama bear. But Alicia was getting too much for her. So she just got sick of her at one point. I'm like, you know what? I get that.
That makes sense.
She's so good with her. And like,
Humans.
Yeah, so it's like I get it. So it's fun watching them interact. It's fun watching them be people, and it's cool watching Katie be responsible. Even at 8, I'm like, okay, I'm going to stay right here. You guys go play, but you got to meet me right here, and she did.
Nice.
So it's like you're happy. Like every once in a while, it's hard to be a parent, but then you look up and you realize you've been doing all right. Like you've created these people who are gonna be cool, or they're not always gonna be perfect. We're gonna be yelling at each other.
Producer and friend Neil Wood here. Brief commercial break. Hey, how you doing? This is Neil Wood, one of the co-owners of Drop 10 Media Network and who helps run Biggest Little Comedy. You can check out all the other stuff we do at drop10.com. We've got podcasts, live comedy shows, and so much more. Go over there, support your favorite podcasts, follow them, subscribe. We appreciate it. Again, we're 100% DIY, just a bunch of creatives trying to make it in this, and give us some feedback. We always enjoy a little feedback. Thanks.
Seriously, Dad. Seriously. Seriously.
But like
You're
when
gonna
all
be-
said and done, like it, and Alicia, I didn't tell you this. Like I told you off air, but she got invited to do the Pledge of Allegiance in front of 500 teachers at a convention, and it was like sort of this really cool thing. I mean, this is a girl that didn't talk till she was 6, and we didn't know if she'd be talking.
Nice,
And
right.
spoke beautifully. She did really well. We got it on recording. And it was just, it was really special for her. So, it's just how far she's come, despite
So then you're like, we're going to Great Wolf Lodge.
I'm like, we're going to go celebrate. We're going big.
Now you just call that out. You just call. Oh, sorry. You just called that audible out of the blue. You want to go to Great Wolf Lodge, or you were like,
So, yeah, we've been
because you were getting bored, weren't you?
Well, so I don't get antsy, and I need something I'm impulsive like that. But the reality was we had been looking at family vacations for the spring break, and we've been going through it. Disney cruises. Should we go on all inclusive resort? Should we go on cruises? Whatever. And we couldn't figure it out. They were all so expensive. And then I said, well, why don't we do a Kalahari? Maybe those are. But then Amanda and I are like, well, that's not vacation for us. Like that's
right.
And so I was like, oh, well, this would be cool because I know we're definitely not going to do this in the spring. So I'll take them, and it'll be cool to see if I can manage both of them by myself in the middle of this massive place, and got them packed in like an instant. And I'm like, you know what? I was pretty proud of myself. All notwithstanding the screaming match right before we left,
right?
It was smooth. Even this morning, because I had all of their stuff packed, I had all their stuff laid out for this morning so that everything was ready to go.
Did you guys play this morning, or did you just wake up and roll?
No, I made that clear to them. No, we did all the playing was yesterday, so we got there early, so that we could have like 5-6 hours there. Then we went up to the room. They had the bunk beds and the TV, so then we ordered in pizza. And then we just kind of all relaxed. I watched like Miracle on Disney Plus, and they were in their little hut.
And then they just wake up and they're good to go. They're not like, can we just play 10 minutes? They don't do that shit.
No, I told them I just told them that it wasn't open yet. I said, well, we have to get back for summer, which was true.
Okay.
And so they were great. We got out at the time in my head. I said I wanted to be on the road. We were, and because I was coming back, I made an appointment to work out with my buddy at noon. So I knew I had to get back to get to the gym for noon. So we did that. So everything.
Oh, okay.
They were great. I was super happy with how smooth it was. I'm trying to get all the luggage. And then this morning I realized if you have a roller bag,
you put the bag on top of the thing.
And a lot of them had the thing to keep it taut against it. So like I was like,
you were there for one night though, bro. How much stuff you got to bring?
It was just all it was one roller bag with all our stuff in it. My little like red bag that you always see me carrying with it has all my stuff in that I put my laptop and stuff in, and then my CPAP machine. And then they had like a book bag with toys in it.
I like how you went over to CPAP real quick. You were like, my CPAP machine.
Yeah, my CPAP.
Dude, I'm scoring like a true father. Like a true goddamn father on top.
I'm scoring so well on my I have an app now, so I do this game where I try to see what my score is going to be the next day.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time. When I first got it, to be honest, I couldn't keep the mask on at night, and it was like the biggest pain. And this insurance lady kept calling and yelling at me, and I'm like, "Woman, I'm trying my best." You're like, "Well, you're gonna have to pay $9,000 and blah blah." I'm like, "Then you come and hold on my goddamn face."
Slow down. Wait a second. So wait, you were getting penalized for not wearing? Like, I'm so confused. I didn't know any of it.
So you rent these machines through your insurance, and what your insurance does is says you need to use this for at least 4 hours for 21 days out of a month. If you don't use it for at least 4 hours 21 days a month, you have to pay the full price for it.
And it's monitoring you through the app.
And yeah, so and so
they know the app cheats you out.
It goes right to them.
Damn.
So I was
you're
getting
a kid basically, and the app's the parent.
Yes,
It's like,
exactly.
so stressed for the longest time. I was like, this woman was so mean. And I'm like, I am trying. Like every night I'm putting it on. It's not like I'm forgetting. It's like
getting abused by your sleep app, dude.
I got 100. I got a 100 score a couple times this week.
Yeah, you did. It's going on the fridge.
Is that good? I don't know. Is that good?
A lot of it's based on time. So like I'm trying to get to bed earlier. So I'm trying not to. So I'm getting about 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night now with it on, which is great. And then they dock you points for how many times you take it off.
What do your kids think when they see you with the sleep app?
So now they actually, my daughter was like, Daddy, did you bring your CPAP? And then this morning she's like, Daddy, did you use it?
It's like, yeah, but what's it to you?
She's in cahoots with the insurance
company. She knows that I need it and all that. And they can hear, like, if I wasn't using it, the snoring.
They could hear it.
Yeah. So it's like, oh yeah. So it's so much better. I feel much more awake. Like even last night, I don't sleep well in hotels just in general. So it was a very broken sleep. I mean, I had it on for 4.5 hours, even though I was in bed for like 9 hours. So it was not good.
I have a question, sort of relationship related, that I wanted to know the moves on this from two married gentlemen.
Hit it.
I was at a casino. I never go to casinos, right?
Nice,
but we were at a casino at a blackjack table.
Okay.
And when I tell you, I had the most insulting old guy named Tony, Italian dude, who just was annoying the entire table.
Okay.
Specifically hitting on my girlfriend. But
Okay.
he's so old. Like he was
he's
old. I was
old.
not in, I was, but it was what, like, so I'm not paying 100% attention, but I am definitely like gripping my hands in a way.
Yeah.
Like I'm like,
You're
I'm
getting
like,
upset.
oh, what am I supposed to do here? Do I just
Yeah.
stand up and just pick him up and take him out? But like, what do you guys do? So like, where's the line drawn? After the interaction, we put it this way, it was fed to me the information that it was like, yeah, he said a couple of things that I probably should have told you he said. You know what I mean? Like in the thing, he was probably doing a little whispers, and I realized I didn't want to be the guy who steps in and just being an asshole, because that's usually first thing.
You got to do some of those agreements, man. You can't take it.
I did. Well, that's the thing. I did, but then afterwards, I was like, oh, this is the moment I was supposed to like be like, hey man, why don't you just back the fuck up and get the fuck out of everyone's face? Like that. It's really what I wanted to do. But I was like,
you said it's an older guy.
How old are we talking?
I'm talking 60, maybe. It's rough. Well, it's Atlantic City, so he could have been 45.
Yeah, he's smoking too much.
Yeah. He looked pretty rough, but like,
he was a Newport 45.
He was annoying the entire table. He walked. I've never seen someone walk someone from a table.
From a gambling
woman
table.
who knew it, like of him, like they were kind of in a group. It was there was a big conference for mortgaging bullshit, whatever going on, and she was like, you know what? I actually can't do this anymore. And the one woman just was like, I gotta go. This guy's just too much.
Wow.
And they
didn't kick him out.
No, there's no kicking out in Atlantic City. That doesn't even happen. You have to be actively pooping on the ground. I think it's But like, I'm trying to get a system. I was like, hey, from now on, does this make sense to you guys? For male stuff, I was like, I need a system. I need you to grip my thigh, like if something inappropriate just happened that I know, because you're very good at hiding it. You're very good at doing that. Do you guys have that? Is that something you've experienced? Like, hey, I need a grip, and you'd be like, just haul off on him. You know what I mean?
We don't have a grip, but we have good communication.
Yeah, she kind of leans in. Okay,
or she like this guy's, and I'll manipulate myself. So I'm in between.
The only thing I can compare it to is like when Amanda and I are in on the IEP meetings and stuff like that now, like if they're virtual and stuff like that, and she's annoyed by something and I need to be the one to speak up, like she'll text me something, like because we're both either virtually and she's in her classroom. In a different place.
She'll send you ask about blah blah blah,
and then that'll cue me that she thinks whatever they just said was bullshit, and then I'll be the one to be the bulldog in that instance.
Okay.
So or if we've been in a personal meeting, I feel like I know, when you're with someone as long as I've been with Amanda, sometimes you do make assumptions, or you can read them. I maybe not make assumptions, but like I feel like I can read her well. I just sometimes I try to do it more than that. So I can kind of read when maybe it's a situation where I need to speak up, or but yeah, I think it's healthy in a relationship to have a way for each other to communicate those things, though.
Okay, 61 years old. What would I do?
He was being like obnoxious as you're thinking about.
I'd probably give like a yo, bro. You need to chill out.
I was given
Every blackjack table has this guy at it.
Oh, it's a nightmare.
Is this a consistent thing?
I know this was actually the I've only played blackjack one time before this with my girlfriend. Right?
Now, let me ask you a question. Sorry to interrupt. Were you guys? Was she winning? Were you winning? Was this?
She was winning. You know, with blackjack, it's like you're up, then you're down. You know, it's kind of like
because you could just leave the table.
100%. Here's the issue because of the nature of it, because it's midweek. We were there from doing the Atlantic City gig, right? It was had a show, and it's midweek. They don't have a lot of tables open, especially ones that are like more fun. There's some like you have Spanish 21.
Okay.
You've got like the double queens or lady queens, whatever. Like more fun to play, and some of them kind of suck. It's like the sevens, 3 sevens is a table you can play, and if you get 3 sevens, it's the whole thing. But it's kind of sucks. But it's the only one open. Like we literally had to wait to get on this table, right?
Okay.
Then it kind of opens up, and now we're just sitting there playing, and we're going. And he kept doing like, "I like you too." He's the Italian, like, "I like you too." Oh, I like you too. You got something special together. You know what I mean? She's I'm like, I started to do like, "Hey man, yeah. You sound like a real gentleman. You sound like a real, like kind of just hitting with sarcasm, like, hey dude, why don't you back up?" And then it started to go like, hey, I'm going to need a confirmation from her. Like, I'm going to need
So let me ask you a question. If this dude, 61-year-old, would have stood up and be like, hey, pal.
I would have loved it.
Would a physical altercation have ensued?
A physical altercation would have just simply me being over, putting my hands on him in a very, I would have said, kind-ish way of just picking him up and taking him somewhere.
Okay, so I
would have just marched him towards.
So he wasn't like a physical threat.
It was a thing of like, I was like, I don't know if I'm just supposed to haul off on this guy, like, or at least establish a line, because it wasn't till the end. He did the thing where I was like, wait, is he being very inappropriate? Did he say something when he was on the other side of you? And I'm not getting an answer. She's like, no, it's fine. Like, she's dealing with it. She's also hard unto herself. She's giving him shit. She's giving him shit the whole time. It's going well.
There's a school of thought here too, though, that's like, women can handle themselves. They don't need. I don't want you to get an undue flack of like, oh, this guy Neil's like thinking he's got to be the white knight here and save the girl.
That's what I think you and I would have responded, and even Albert, like, I feel like we would have responded the same way, because it wasn't clear exactly. He was being an asshole. He was being just like, repetitive about his thing, really didn't have much to say, thought he was really charismatic, but saying nothing. And we're all annoyed. And then at the end, I was like, "Hey, shoot your shot, dickhead," because here we go. Right at the end, it's like 2 a.m. at this point. Right?
How long you been around this guy?
It was like 11. It was insane. We should have let. I don't know why we didn't.
I hope you guys won a lot of money.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, all right. We did pretty well. But like, it's finally this guy won't leave. Right. It's almost at this point we're doing it for a joke. And then I was like, shoot your shot, dude. Go ahead. Like in my head, I'm like, shoot it. Go ahead. He's like, yeah, maybe later. I was like, all right, Tony. I just was like, all right, Tony, why don't you get up and go? Like, whatever. Yeah. But like, I need it. And then afterwards, like, hey, you need to grip my thigh or something. You need to do I think Jay maybe.
I mean, if you punch a 61-year-old dude, there's a chance you could do some serious damage.
I mean, this is the kind of guy that you see at every blackjack table, and like somebody gets a 17 and he's like, oh, the mother-in-law. You want to hit her?
Yeah. First of all, that's what my girlfriend says, first of all, so watch your mouth, because it's the right way. No, it's a reminder. Yeah, you're right. No, he didn't even have to play. He was annoying across the board, dude. But I don't know. It was our first thing where I was like, we got to get up a system. Like, I know you. I can tell you're annoyed, but you also can handle yourself. She was giving him shit, like I said. But I was like, I need to know how far I can go.
Okay.
I need a little runway, because I don't want to piss her off.
He's not touching her, and there's not like a thing there that like, and you'll see it, because if she gets, I think you got to take her lead on that, because otherwise you're like going into.
Jay's got a good point. If you become the guy who's like, hey, back off, pal, and she's like, I was handling it, Dick.
It was fine. Yeah. That's what I was worried about.
I think I saw that happen to Zach and AC Slater once.
Yeah.
Slater's shirt gets ripped. It's really good. It's a good episode.
I got some footage to check out. Good.
I think. Have you ever had a physical altercation, Jay, or like a time where you had to like buck up and be ready to go?
Yeah, the only thing I've had with the thing that was like probably the one where I was most ready, I took students to Italy. I think we were on a trip. I used to take students all the time.
Oh boy, you're
And
gonna be
I
getting a
was
fight
like, kids
overseas.
were
Jay.
getting onto the bus from the hotel. And I noticed a guy walk onto the bus that I was like, oh, I'm the only guy in this trip that's an adult male.
Oh, is a man on the bus?
So I noticed. So then I go over, get on the bus, and this guy like had gotten on the bus. So I guess he was trying to sell something or flowers or something.
With
But
the
like
kids, he's in there with kids.
I had to so I physically removed him from the bus
Okay.
because he was just trying to play dumb at first when I said, what are you doing here? So then I just removed him. I just put my hands on him and like kind of what Neil was describing.
Okay.
And I just moved his body in the way that was
All right.
pushing him down the stairs and off the bus. But
You ever have an issue with your wife and or kids?
like
Thankfully, no.
with them, no, I've never had
Okay.
I've never been around in a situation where I thought like, oh, something's going to go down. I once had a girlfriend that I dated that in high school that her family was not from a very good stock, and she was in foster care because they were on drugs and all sorts of stuff.
Ugh.
There was one time I took her to visit her real parents, and there was somebody outdoors that was trying to like solicit. I don't know if it was drugs or what, but like you could tell like they probably had a gun. Like there were some other scenarios, and I had to like kind of go up and get them away from that person. And I was like, I don't know if this guy's got a knife.
Oh, wow. So hold on. This is your high school girlfriend?
Mm-hmm.
And she asked you to go with her to see her real family?
Yeah. And it was like, dude, that place was
That's a big responsibility. Is that a lot to ask for a high school guy?
Yeah, a little
yeah.
bit.
We had been together for like 4 years. I mean, we had been together for a
Okay.
long time. We had gotten engaged to be married shortly after that.
Oh, so you were really
Like we were full in. Like we were. Yeah, it was a very unhealthy relationship, but like we were trying to,
Sure.
it was a very unhealthy relationship. At the time, it was. I don't know what I was doing, but
there's this dude. Here you see this dude. There's this dude on the internet. I don't even know his name. I don't even want to say his name, but he's one of those people who like starts beef with people in the street, and he walks up to people and when they're with dudes and they're like ladies, and he goes, "Damn, you got a fat ass." And then the dude's like, yo, my man, well, you got a problem? Damn. And he's like, yo, I'm just saying your lady got a fat ass. And then they get into like this physical altercation.
Right.
I don't know how real it is. That's incredibly disrespectful.
It's
Though. That's
insane.
really, really fucked up.
Yes.
If you were walking down the street and someone said that about your lady, would you go to a physical altercation or would you just walk out of there?
no, I wouldn't.
You would go
That's
physical?
not what I like.
Physical,
That's kind of allowed to go physical.
I don't know to do that.
I would start embarrassing him immediately. I will probably say that. I will try to be, just
Well,
like,
I'd ask him what he thought of mine.
yeah, there you go.
I
Yeah.
think it's all.
You like
Aren't
what
these
you
dudes all
see?
fake? Aren't they? Isn't it all fake?
Oh yeah, what that guy's doing sounds like he's just that's just clickbait bullshit. He just knows he can.
Like
get
he knows the
something
two
riled up.
people, and
Yeah, he
he's
just
like,
wants
"Yo, I'm
good
just gonna
video.
act like you're," and then we're gonna act like we're getting in a fight.
There's this bag on TikTok called Dominic the Troll that like I watch
He's
his
a doctor.
videos. He goes up to cops and he like has this thing where he asks their badge number, and then when they do it, they say "good boy." He's got like 1 million followers.
Yeah.
Like they all know, but then he also goes into these buildings because I guess he created this meme where he was like, saying I have nothing, and he like does this. So he goes up and like harasses people. Like he's at Subway and he's like, I just want more pickles, and they've literally put like a whole container of pickles on. He's like, no, I just want more pickles, and they're finally like, no more pickles, and then he just keeps like going after them, and we'll go into Wendy's and order a bunch of stuff that's not on the menu. And like just get these workers fired up who are just like, dude, I'm just here trying to do my job. What do you like? You're here trying to get some views and get some things to push my buttons while I'm at a job.
I think that they will. I think they should eventually make that like a charge, like a criminal charge, like like something's a hate crime
Yeah, it's disturbing.
because the intent is fucked up. I think that eventually that'll be a different charge because your intent was to walk up and embarrass someone, make them upset, and then catch their reaction on TV or whatever.
time. Yeah, and then you're like, what? So you can get some views.
Right,
And
right. And then
I'm just,
yeah.
and I go in the comments because I'm like, somebody's got to be telling this dude he's a douchebag.
Yeah.
Sure. I imagine that's most
Nope,
of it.
everybody loves it. Everybody
Wow.
loves it.
Yeah, see,
Like,
this is my problem with the internet, I think.
Yeah.
and it drives me nuts because I get my blood boiling because I'm just like, stop doing that to people. Like that, you know what that guy's going through, and you want to be the one that's like push him over the edge just so you can get a few clicks on fucking TikTok. Like, what are you
No,
doing?
I think Dominic, keep going, buddy. Especially if you want to work for United, you should maybe do anything like that. I think you need to be. I don't know. I'm just saying.
I mean, it does take it takes a lot to go out there and start fucking with people you don't know and like pushing them to the point of maybe an altercation. That's
Sure.
You got some big ass balls, and a lot of them aren't funny.
No, well,
Do you think they're? You ever see one like, oh, this is good? I want to like they're not funny,
Yeah.
right? Like has the one ever made you laugh? No. So
no. As soon as I realize it's the lowest common denominator, this person's known for it, or just this isn't an organic moment, I'm just like, oh, this is a disgusting part of the internet. I wish didn't exist.
yeah. The internet. I mean,
His name
There's
is
too much.
Dominic the Troll, dude. You know what I mean? Like, what already? I'm like, you and I have very different missions in life.
yeah, that's a
Yeah.
great point. That's a great point.
Yep, that's
a
true.
great
I
point.
was watching I will say there is a wholesome one that's cheesy and is blown up, but it started as a father and son. AJ and Big Justice. Have you heard of these
No,
guys?
I don't know them, but they sound interesting.
So they started as like a guy who, I mean, he was a semi-professional like arena football player or something, and he was doing realty for a while. But his son, they live in Florida. His son started making these like videos on YouTube, and then they started like going to Costco and like rating stuff, and then it blew up, and they became known as the Costco guys. And they talk about bringing the boom, and like they would like they'll do a review of something. They're like, I'm gonna give it 5 big booms, boom, boom,
Okay.
and like it's. And then they created a song, and now they just do these dances to the song of them
Doing the
talking
boom dance.
Yeah, they're like, we bring the boom.
Oh
That's
gosh,
what
and they're
we
making
do.
$15
And
million.
it's like so cheesy, but it started as this father and son thing. So it's kind of adorable, and it's harmless, and it's clean, and they're not doing anything silly.
Yeah,
and
those are good. Those are positive.
going to
Those are
businesses,
fun.
and they're rating foods now. They're bringing in other collaborators. They're doing the dance. It's silly, but you know what? At the same time now, this father and son got to do this cool thing together. The mom and the daughter are part of it too.
They're all making a ton of money, probably.
And they're
We're
making
talking
a
about
ton of
them.
money, and it's just like good, wholesome fun hanging out with your family. And I'm like, you know what? That's something
That's a
I'm
good part. That's a good part of the internet.
My daughters both love. It's called A for Adley, and it's this Mormon family out in Utah, and they make these videos. They're making their whole life is making their daughters videos, and it's just the dad playing make believe with them and doing all this like fun stuff. But now they have a whole team with them that records them, and it's Adley's Adventures, and they have games
Oh
and.
boy. Yeah, she'll have a action figure soon.
At
and-
what point?
But it's just a family having fun together, like creating like forts and like, so it's kind of cute and adorable.
yeah.
But how much? But also, I feel like there's some things out there that I'll see, and I was like, does this verge on abuse? Like, you're deciding. What are your guys' thoughts about this? As two fathers, you and Jay talking about that. I feel like you have a lot of people on TikTok that you follow that have do stuff like that. Very cute things. But sometimes doesn't it verge into like the kid didn't decide on this? The parents are deciding to put their lives on TikTok.
But it's one if it's dance moms, but this is just dads
No,
hanging out with
yeah.
kids, dad stuff.
Right,
Like
that's
just
fine.
happened to put a camera up, and now they're making. So like, to me, I'm
But
like,
the child
oh, well,
doesn't have an idea of what this means, right?
I understand what and
Do you know
also
what I mean?
like I understand what Neil's saying. And also like when does the child say no and or get to say no? Right? Is it like okay, it's Saturday, we gotta film 9 hours of content on this Saturday.
Sure.
Yeah.
Go change your next set of clothes and be down here in 30 seconds so we can
yeah,
do
you know, and you never know what it's like behind.
Yeah,
the
I don't know what they're doing behind the scenes. And if it's that way, I don't think it's really all that good. If it's a fun thing that they're all really, really into and a part of, then I think it is a good thing.
Sure.
But I mean,
you never know. You don't know what's going on.
yeah, you don't know what's going on. I mean, when we did, me, Lainey, Skylar, and Sammy, we did some work at a Camelback, which is very similar to Great Wolf Lodge. Our biggest concern was if the girls aren't feeling it, how hard are you going to push? And the guy was like, if they don't want it, we don't get it. That's pretty much what he said. And that was perfect for me because I don't want to be like pushing my kid to do something that maybe she's just sleepy and doesn't want to do.
Sure.
And they were great. They were great about it. But not everyone's like that. I mean, I saw a thing where I saw one thing. Now, this is one thing I saw, but it appeared as if the woman was instructing her son to cry to like push a video. And she kind of got caught, but I'm sure she's not the only one who does that shit.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
This is
yeah. So I don't know. I think you got a good point because also like even with like doing podcasts or comedy or whatever, the schedule, right? Like we have a schedule. Is this young person's afternoons on weekends all just making content with their family? I don't think that would be the best thing.
But even still, like I said, in this instance, the content is having fun with your family.
Okay, yeah. And if it is them, just they went to a park and played softball, that's great. But if dad's like, no, do it again, but this time when you slide, act like you hurt yourself, whatever. You get what I'm saying.
I think that's what's happening with that father-son duo I mentioned. From what I've heard,
AJ and Big.
Yeah, I think now I think it might. I think I'd seen some people say like if the people who had collaborated with them, like the dad was a little tough on him when they were doing extra takes and all of that.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I'm wondering if that thing is turning into that. Because they don't really have a gimmick. Like that's just they're a gimmick. So it's like they don't. The kid walks around with the chicken bake from Costco, and the dad's big thing is it's a double chocolate cookie.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like, and it's like in your head, and everybody knows it. Everybody's talking about like they're on like the late night shows. There's this other kid that they team up with called the Rizzler.
Yeah, the Rizzler's a popular son bitch, ain't he? Well, maybe I shouldn't call him that, but Rizzler's a popular fella.
He's with those two now, so the three of them are always in it together. And then they had this like cousin Angelo guy that's trying to catch on, and I'm like, stop trying to make fetch happen. Like this, like they all have like million followers, and this cousin Angelo's got like 7,000, and he's just trying to do these stupid dance that like they did. And then I'm just like, what do you do?
I'll put the question to you guys. If I could snap my fingers and make your family famous on TikTok, would you do it?
Oh, what a good question. How much money do we make?
Like viral, and you're instantly going to get sponsors, and it might, some stuff. So let's just say, go ahead.
I would have done it yesterday.
You would have done it yesterday.
I'm going to go with the on that.
I think, and I do not have kids, so of course I'm going to say the opposite. It might be fine. It might be okay. I don't know. There's something about making a choice for a child to be famous in any capacity.
Okay, let's look at Neil. If I were to be a famous TikTok guy, I'd make a handful of millions and then I would disappear.
Right.
I wouldn't be in it for a long run.
True.
And I think that's one of the problems with the internet people. Do your thing, be hot, write it out, and then get the fuck on. And if you want to do it again, start over.
Sure.
Make another viral dance, make another thing.
The reason I said yes so quickly too, though, is like I think there's some value in people seeing things that they can relate to, or to realize that their things are normal or not like they're like. I would have loved to have seen other families like mine growing up, or know that there were other families like.
And that is a good point about the internet.
Because part of me is like, wow, if I could talk about what it's really like, raising someone who's autistic, if I could talk about what it's really like being a teacher in the public school today, if I could talk about like, oh, look at me, and I was raised by, gay people, and yet I've turned out to be like I feel like there's so much I would love to like highlight that I think is worthy of people normalizing or seeing that. That's why I would be like, oh, I feel like I have so many stories to tell that I would love if I had a platform to do that, or to do that even on a bigger level.
Yeah, there's a lot of good coming from it. I totally, especially with you guys, you're educator, and Albert's always got like a very kind of wise way to come about it. Talking to your dad, Albert's dad, and stuff like that. Like I can see kind of how the support is there. It's not the majority.
Well, like I mean. So I think the world right now is in this weird place because we have like conventional fame, right? Yeah. That's like reality series people or movie people on TV, right? And then we have this new age, this unconventional social media type of fame where you're Instagram, TikTok, whatever. I mean, there's people out there doing just about anything and everything you can think of at a very large scale with millions and millions of people who follow them. I think when it comes to the internet stuff, I do think that it comes quick and it should leave quick. I'm on that. Like, go in there, get strike while the iron's hot, get what you can get, and then get the fuck out. You know what I mean? Like the OnlyFans girls do. They get in there, they make a whole bunch of millions, and then they disappear. I think that's how you should do it. And I think if you do that, probably like that little bit of exploitation and that thing of like pushing someone to do better the next 3, 4, 5 takes would probably just diminish a little bit because, like this is our horizon. We're going to be the Rizzler or this guy or the so-and-so the troll for the next 12, 18 months. And then something else is going to come along cooler and better. And then we'll kind of just ride out in the sunset and someone else will be riding a wave in. I think that's
Everybody gets
how
their
it should
15
work.
minutes. They get their
Get
15
your
minutes.
15 minutes and your 15 million and get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Talk to a girl.
Yeah.
Oh,
She burned the boat. She burned the bridge.
Yeah.
Well, her brand logo was known as 16 minutes.
Oh, was it? Okay, that was her 16th minute. All right. Well, everyone's angry at her because she did some crypto scam. Everyone's upset with her. So
Yeah.
right. If she would have just took her Hawk 2 of fame, did her little thing, got a little, and then got the fuck out, she'd be good. Now she's gonna have to answer these questions.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah. Comment and let us know. Like, yeah, if you have that decision as a parent, like I'm about to make my child famous, online, and especially deal with all of the backlash that I know. Jay's correct. There's so many times where you want to see the variability in life and the interactions because it makes you feel more whole. But then we also know that the internet's an absolute cesspool, and God forbid what you're doing to your family. And
Those hating ass kids. What do you think you think all those other kids are absolutely in love and think the highest of the one girl or guy in their class who's filthy fucking rich and has all this fame and followers and has camera crews following up when their parents pick them up from school. You think all those other kids are like friendly? They're all fucking hate that.
Oh my god, they're hater. Well,
haters.
Those two, that AJ guy, the Big Justice kid, and they can't go to regular school anymore. They had to get pulled out of regular school.
So you've turned your kid into the Kardashian, right? So the Kardashian kids, they grew up in the TV fame, and it was like there, and it was already. And this one, you're doing the same thing in the Instagram fame. Your kids can't go to a normal school now. That's kind of like how far does it go?
Jay's correct with obviously his situation and being an educator. I could 100% see a very healthy channel, things like that. Same thing with Albert, your self-defense, the coolness, the idea of the coolness.
Yeah,
I don't know how else to say it. I mean, Jay is cool. These are two very different types of cool. I hate both of you for getting me to this. Well, I don't know how to describe because you're not an educator. You didn't come from that way. But I will say that you've got a very a Zen way to go about it. I think Jay and I are a little bit I have ADHD on the yin yang. So it's but Jay's also amazingly introspective, emotional, in touch with the empathy part of it and sees that in every other person.
Now that I'm not cool.
You are so cool. It's a different type of
You're
cool.
the second coolest guy on Seriously Dad, Jay.
I am the most uncool that's ever been. So calm down. Trust me. But what I'm saying, I tell that to my girlfriend. I'm just I'm not cool or smooth in any way. I know I'm supposed to be tall and like that, but it's not my thing. But I'm saying that it's when that fame comes, I would feel for my son or daughter to be like, hey, oopsie daisies, you're famous now, and we might need to change your life because of it.
Yeah.
But so for you guys, I'd be you talk to your kids, you have that open dialogue. Just be careful, people out there, if you're posting. I feel that's what people tell us what you think. I think, would you do it at a snap of a finger? Would you want your whole family to be famous?
And be careful what you ask for because I don't think it's all rose. I mean, you make a little bit of money and stuff, but I don't know. I mean, if you have to switch schools, you probably had to move houses, maybe more than once. Maybe your address gets. What do they call that? Docked, right? They find out who you are. Or doxed. Docked is totally different.
That's a little different.
Yeah. But I don't know. You be careful what you wish for because I mean, shit. Even people are rich and they kill themselves and they're depressed and they have addictions and they have. We think they have it all figured out because they have all this money, but then you realize money is a very small piece of this whole thing.
Yeah, Anthony Bourdain every time, right? Yeah. Comics got that great joke of the guy who had the best job in the world killed himself. What the fuck's going on?
You just got to get in tune with the 4 agreements. That's it.
That's it.
Get in tune.
Agree to it.
4 agreements.
Well, awesome. Guys, don't forget to check out the show February 15th.
Soul Joel's, friend of the pod.
Yeah, baby.
Second live show. It's going to be a blast. Now that we got our feet on us a little bit too, the first one was fire. The second one's going to be even better. It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be great. Yeah. Don't forget to like and subscribe on all this stuff, everybody. Go over to iTunes, Spotify, like and subscribe. Give us a rate and review.
Tell your friends. That would be nice of you.
Yeah. If you know somebody who's about to become a parent or thinking about it or a parent already, do all that kind of stuff. Kick it around in the comments. We appreciate it. Jay, where you got anything you want to plug specifically and just tell people where you're
got some stuff coming up right after Christmas. I'm gonna be at Lancaster on the 26th. I'm gonna be up in Jersey City on the 27th, and then I'm headlining at Hershey Vineyards on the 28th.
Hey.
And then
Hell yeah.
I'm featuring for Joe DeVito on New Year's Eve at Soul Joel. So go to jayyoder.com.
Yeah.
Oh, I just saw Joe. I just saw him at the stand. We were
Yeah,
just
just
at
last
the
week.
show on Monday. Remember on Monday? Did I ask you if you want to go on Monday?
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Monday was pretty hectic. Yeah. Monday was one we wanted to go up. It was all.
And then
rainy,
I
we
went
weren't
back
sure.
the next day. I went back Tuesday.
Yeah.
I did Village and the stand. I'll be in New York, Port Carbon, New York. I'll be all over. Just check it out on Instagram, Albert Davis Comedy. Send me a DM, ask me a question, a random question. I don't fucking know. Hit me up. Or
Perfect.
just tell your friends who I am, and then they'll like me, and then
Yeah.
I'll grow. That would be good.
That's how it works. Yeah, you can check me at New Year's Eve. It's already, I think it's almost sold out. But if you want great food on New Year's Eve, you're not going to see the ball drop there, so it's okay. But go to Piccolo Mondo in Pottstown, PA, with Steve Rinaldi. It's a great show. He says it's filling up a lot, so I think it's like an earlier show, so it's like 7:30. So you don't have to, but you can still go to see the ball drop, and yeah, check us out over there. Thanks, everybody.
Cool. Seriously, Dad. Peace.
Peace.
Seriously, Dad.
Thank you for listening to the Dads, for once. Give these daddies a break. And maybe follow, subscribe, like, and comment to the Dads on Instagram and YouTube at SeriouslyDadPod. Rate and review Seriously Dad Podcast on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, and everywhere you get your podcasts.
Seriously, Dad.
Hey, how you doing? This is Neil Wood, one of the co-owners of Drop 10 Media Network and who helps run Biggest Little Comedy. You can check out all the other stuff we do at drop10.com. We've got podcasts, live comedy shows, and so much more. Go over there, support your favorite podcasts, follow them, subscribe. We appreciate it. Again, we're 100% DIY, just a bunch of creatives trying to make it in this, and give us some feedback. We always enjoy a little feedback. Thanks.
This has been a Drop Tent Media production.